business is a different ball game. As a CEO running a business is a different ball game. Okay, I think today let me go on Twitter because people say I don't always do everybody. So today, I know I've not done Twitter for a while. CEO, this is why you struggle. Okay, oh, I'm not facing me. Hi, good evening. Sorry, I've been up and down. So the road and all of that, and I gave myself a cold. I've been told that I need to rest, but because I've not rested, so kind of having a cold, but we will be fine. All right, so this is why you struggle. This is the conversation I want to have today. Hi, good evening. Thanks for joining. For those who are joining, I'm doing Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. So for those that want to join on YouTube, you can still join on YouTube. So why do you struggle as a business? Why do you struggle as a business, as a farmer? Now, let me start by saying for a lot of farmers, there are two categories of farmers who I have met in business. Two categories of farmers who I have met in business in my since 2012 till now. How many years be that one? Let me be sure. I am not one of those who was opportune to start as what's wrong with this? Who was opportune to start business from the place of I'm going to do agric. No. I always tell those who care to know I stumbled into agric. So, but in my years in business, two basic things have stood out, which I have noticed. Try to get the exact how many years I've been in agric, I always forget. Yeah, about 12, 13 years. Two basic things have stood out. Number one is I noticed that a lot of people came into agric because they had nothing doing, and this felt like an easy thing to do, or this felt like we can get this done. On the other hand, others came into agric because they were competent in something in the agric space. They were very good at something in the agric space. Let me use an example. I don't know how many times you've heard this advice. Maybe there is this young lady or this young guy who is very, very good in cooking. Like this guy cooks amazingly well, or this guy bakes very well. And you suddenly realize that friends and family starts to tell the person, hey Baba, why not turn this thing into a business? Please share so that others can join. You start telling this person, why not turn this thing into a business? Why not make this thing a business? Why not turn this thing into a business? And this person, seeing that a lot of people appreciate what they are doing, what suddenly happens? They turn that stuff into a business, right? But the problem is what they've not understood yet is you can't run a business simply because you cannot run a business sorry you cannot run a business simply because you have been told that you are good at doing something. And this is because business has three legs. Business has three legs, three hands. The leg number one for business is being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, that's leg number one. Number one. Leg number two for business, beyond being an entrepreneur, is you must also be a manager. Now, you see, an entrepreneur and a manager are not the same person. Because you see, when you just start your job, there is the part where you are the one playing all of this. Sorry, just a minute. There is a part where you are the one playing all of these roles, but they are not the same. Then there is being a technician. So, three parts are needed to run a business successfully. Excuse me. Number one, I said being an entrepreneur. Two, being a manager. Three, being a technical person. Now, most people started their farm journey because they were technically sound in an area. I will say that again. A lot of people started their journey in this whole farm entrepreneurship because they were technically sound in an area. And this is why it has become very rampant that a young person who is a staff somewhere on a farm, in 1 year, the person will start writing behind, oh, I am now a consultant. I am now a specialist. Give the person 2 3 years, they have broken off to go start their own company because everybody has called them the star. Like, without you, this farm will not work. Without you, this irrigation system will not move. Without you, this poultry will be dead. So you start realizing this person that is very good technically decides to go start a business. To go start a business. Unfortunately, as a business owner, the success of your business is not only dependent on your technical expertise. I always tell people this in my training that I would rather that when I train farmers, that after the training, they leave my presence good businessmen and bad farmers than they leave my presence as good farmers and bad businessmen. Because you see, being technically sound makes you a perfect employee. Because what you now have are people who, because of their technical know-how, open up businesses where they begin to work overtime without payment. where they begin to work overtime without growth, where they think they are business owners, but in reality, they are just self employed. Because the entrepreneur is about leadership, it's about being a visionary, the capacity to dream, the capacity to take risk, the capacity to be free in quotes, so that they have flexible hours, so that they can explore life and be able to use that to improve their business. But the manager is the person that needs to be hands-on and operational. The technical person is the guy that executes. The issue is, most of the time, most entrepreneurs were technical people who assume, yes, please, thank you, Curtis, please, you can share for more people to join. I know this is super late. You can share for more people to join, who assume that because they are technically sound, they will be good businessmen. And nothing is farther from the truth than that. I tell you that for free. That you are technically sound does not mean you will be a good businessman. If anything, somebody that is highly technical is a great recipe for disaster. A great recipe for disaster. So, why are we struggling as CEO? Every business, according to, I can't remember the name of the man now, he said every business has 3 stages. Excuse me. Every business has 3 stages. He said every business starts from infancy. Every business starts from infancy. No, maybe those guys block, I may have to stop. Every business starts from infancy. From an infant business, and we explain what all of this means, it becomes an adolescent. And from an adolescent business, it becomes what's the one last one now? A matured business. Just a minute, let me take my cough medication. Yes, Olabi, thank you. It becomes a matured business. Now, these things do not happen just because you have stayed long in business. Now, let me explain this. I know I've said it before, but let me say it again. Your business growth is not dependent on how old your business is. Let me put my glasses so that you hear me well, so you know I'm serious. You see, life and business are kind of, ready for the right word to use, mirrors each other. You know, in life, imagine from the day I was born, I have never picked up a book to read. I have never been around people to learn, right? Let's assume from the day I was born, I have only been in the bush. In short, my parents left me and I grew up with animals. Now, when you meet me, the behavior I will exhibit, as far as you are concerned, will look weird, right? You would say this guy is not civilized, he's not exposed, he's been animalistic in nature, right? I'm going somewhere. That is because time is responsible for aging, time is not responsible for growth. Because We have grown up with this assumption that as time passes, I will grow, because when you are doing birthday, you are growing. But in reality, birthdays are not a mark of growth, but a mark of aging. Birthdays are pointers to aging. Birthdays are not pointers to growth, because aging happens because there is a passage of time. Growth happens because there is an intentionality to gain knowledge towards an area, so that there can be an increment in that area that is now expressed as growth. I wanted to distinguish these two very well, because when I start talking and I start saying growth, I don't want you to mistake growth for aging, or think aging is growth. Because what we have is, people have built businesses that are aging but are not growing. That is why you would realize that in the startup world, they look at the first 5 years to see how far you can go. The first 5 years, I'm sure you would have noticed that. And they will tell you most businesses die in the first 5 years. So, as a startup, you start from your business being an infant. As an infant. Now, infancy in business, again, is not about age. That's what I want to make clear. That's how to explain all of that. It's not about age. So it's not about, oh, I have been in business for 15 years, now we are old. No. You can be in business for 15 years, but in reality, in growth, you are just 2 days. I've given this example before, where somebody wrote to one of my Farmer Samson cannot be making money from. We are not even this big yet. Then we had about 15 greenhouses and I think 13 or so net houses. The man was adamant, like, no. And the lady was trying to explain to him that, no, nah, I work with Farmer Sam. And he was telling the lady, no, that him too, he is a farmer. That there are only 2 ways I am making money. I am either doing ritual or I am doing money laundry. And that, oh, because I have relationship with politicians and co, it is money laundry. And the lady met me more like, Farmer Sam, how do I defend? And I'm like, what are you defending? The person believed what they choose to believe. But what that started opening my eyes to over time was a lot of young persons, or a lot of people in business, especially agribusiness or agriculture, are still at their infancy level. And being at the infancy level in your business is not bad. I was there too. Except you are running a business that maybe your 5th, 10th, or 50th business, everybody at some point was there in their business, where you were an infant in the process. But, key thing, when you are there needs to be that understanding that I need to grow out of this place. Now, how do you know you are at your infant level? Mistakes abound, which is normal. Which is why when a young business, remember a while back, one of my mentees met me and said, hey, Farmer Sam, I tried trading and I made a loss. Money for the product. And he met me like, this. That they are threatening me with police, they are threatening me with that. And I told the guy, let them arrest you. He looked at me like, because in his mind, once I tell Farmer Sam will step in, use connection to stop. I said, let them arrest you. And he would look at me and say, let me explain. I said, I've been here before. If they arrest you, they will get you to station. I said, even if the station is the most corrupt in the world, what it means is they will give you 1 or 2 slaps. I said, but at some point, they will tell you to come and write your statement. I said, did you take the pepper and steal it and eat it? He said, no. I said, so when you are told to write statements, what I know for certain is in writing statements, the policeman will be looking at what you are writing and be reading. So I said they will be reading along with you because they want to guide you and be sure of what you are writing. I said, once they know, okay, truly you took this pepper, truly you gave it to a driver, truly I think whether the driver's vehicle got spoiled, the pepper got spoiled, and then when you delivered to the client saw it and said, no, although I wanted to pay maybe 5k per kilo, this pepper is bad, I only pay 2k per kilo. And you did your judgment and said, if I should take this thing back, it will get worse, or you just carry. Now they are dragging you that, oh, you are owing, you want to steal, you are lying, blah, blah, blah. And he agreed, and they did that. After the whole thread took him to police, they did writing. What did they tell him at the end? Baba, you need to agree on the process that you are going to use to make payment. And I told him, when he gets to that point, say what is comfortable. There is no more fear. The worst that can happen has happened. Infancy level. Infancy level have been there where we took money for crowdfunding. And you figured rain will start on Monday, rain till Friday. And for some weird reason, rain decided to stop on Monday evening. I have been there. I have been there where we overpromised and we underdelivered. I have been there. I have been there where I say, don't worry, this job will finish in 1 week. And immediately I just said this job will finish in 1 week. Everything that can go wrong went wrong. Years ago, I've been in a place where I built a greenhouse. Wind came and took the full roof of the greenhouse. I'm not saying the UV nylon, because if you remember some greenhouses of those days where you used to weld, it cut it from where we welded the rooftop with the nylon. I have been there. But you see, this is your infancy stage. At this level, you are all alone. Everybody you employ, you bring them in for a season, they are not with you as staff. I have been there. Because many a time, a lot of people are too quick to leave infancy and start looking for staff up and down. I have been there. I remember one of the first contracts I ever got years ago. That was not one of the first, in short, the first contract I ever got. It was in a place called Araromi Ake, somewhere around Shagamu Aziz. Araromi Ake. Good money. That was the first time I got to know that I had a bank accountant. This is far back as 2015, 2016. Got a call from the bank, come and explain this money. I explained. They're like, oh, wow, beautiful. Oh, well done, well done. And I got the job and I was elated. At the end of that job, I made a huge loss. Like a huge loss. Do you understand? One of the workers on that job that I brought in to do the job bought a car from the job. Another worker bought land. Staffs bought different things. Me that I was CEO, the head nigga in charge, I had nothing to show except debt. But it is fine. Why? That is your infancy stage. This is the place where you are learning the ropes. Earlier this week, I gave you an example of how I used to go and stay in front of Ogun State Governor's office, just after the office. There is a street light there. That is where I used to receive goods all the way from Jos, Kaduna, Kano, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 11 p.m., 10 p.m., and I will sit there sorting tomatoes, sorting pepper, so that I can enter my 12 before 2, 3, 4 a.m. so that the product will sell high. Experiences, life. But that is your infancy stage. At that point, I was entrepreneur with a dream. I was manager trying to manage my processes, manage customers. At the same time, I was technical. And this is the definition of micro or SME, where you are the gbogbo tigbo. You are the alpha and omega. The day you fall sick, the business is sick. The day you can't come out, the business cannot come out. The day you cannot wake up early, the business is not waking up early. It is the infancy stage. You are all in all. You know, when you have a baby, you are everything to that baby. If the baby cries, na you. The baby poo, na you. The baby wan chop, na you. The baby wan sleep again, na you. Everything about the baby is you. That is infancy stage. And when your business is at infancy stage, your focus should be technical. Your focus should be technical. And this is where a lot of farmers make mistakes. Because I am not trying to discourage anybody, but I'm not looking for the right word to use because this is live. So nobody will say, oh, I am saying don't talk to A or don't talk to B, which kind of rubbish. Because people are very sensitive online at times. One of the things I learned, please, you can share Twitter, you can share YouTube, please, you can share with friends that you think needs to know this. TikTok, please, you can also share. One of the things I learned early, fortunately, is a platform can come too early. Media attention can be too early. Access can come too early. There are assets that if you get too early and you are not prepared for it, you could ruin it by just being you, an infant. Because you are an infant in your business, you will ruin that relationship that came early. Because you notice, people that are farmers on this platform, you know what I'm talking about. If there is a program now, let's say Nigeria Agricultural Summit, and let's say in that program, the former AFDB president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, is there. Baba Obasanjo is there. Who else again likes agriculture that I know? The Minister of Agriculture is there, and so on and so forth. You will agree with me that a lot of people will be queuing up to discuss with ex-AFDB president. A lot of people will queue up to discuss with Minister of Agriculture. A lot of people will queue up to discuss with Baba Obasanjo. But if you sit down and ask yourself this critical question, which is, what do I really need from these people that will be a really reasonable ask? That them not performing it becomes a disservice from their part. Good evening, man. Good evening, man. Food safety, man. Good evening, man. Becomes a disservice from their part. I will give an example so that it makes sense. Today is Friday. Yesterday, I was opportune to be in a meeting where, what is the name of, please let me get his name. I'm not too good with name. This head of taxation man in Nigeria, is it the tax that is very common, always explaining tax thingy? What's the man's name? The head of tax, Mr. I can't remember the guy's name. Oh, did I forget his name? Oh. That is always on almost every podcast today talking about the tax this, the tax that, whether he's a special advisor or something, I don't even know. But you know who I'm talking about. I happened to be in the same room with him yesterday. Thank you so much, Mr. Taiwo Yedeji. I happened to be in the same room with him yesterday. And a lot of people were running around him to have conversations. I saw a lot of young agripreneurs running around him to talk. And in my head, I am asking myself, what problem would you have that requires the level that this man operates at? The reality is, the questions that you are asking, you will just get his generic answers that does not necessarily push a pin for you. Not because he is wicked, but because your business has not grown to a place where that relationship will help. Therefore, making any sense. Because this is where a lot of businesses at infant level are making mistakes. We are not able to understand that not every meeting is our meeting. Not every relationship we need to cultivate now. Because you have cultivated some relationship that you do not even have the capacity to nurture. So now they have died out, that by the time you need it in the future, you cannot access it. You cannot access it. So, as a young entrepreneur at infancy level, I saw that your major concern should be technical. First, how can I become technically efficient? Exactly, you can no longer access them anymore. People that are close to me know that I always give them examples of, oh, I have this baba, I have this daddy, I have this kabiyesi, I have this what's the word now, obi, I have this sultan, I have this person who I have access to, who has said, oh, come whenever you need stuff. And I tell them, I have not gone to ask yet. It is not from a place of pride, but because I cannot go to them to ask of them what is not something that is difficult for them. Therefore, making any sense. Because many a time as small businesses, we think that the proof of our vision is getting connected with people at the top. Because now you are connected to people at the top, but you are still at the bottom. And they are not able to help you to the top because the instrument in place to help at their level is not something they can deploy to your level. Thank you so much, man. It's not something they can deploy to your level. Madam Fosefi said, farming is a science, understand the nitty-gritty, be prepared and well-grounded. Exactly. So, at your infancy level, this is your time to be grounded. This is your time to attend conferences where you are grounded. This is not connection time yet. This is not, I want to be in your corner. Because you see, the problem is, you don't have results to even share that they can boast of on your behalf. You don't have a track record that they can boast of. Abi? So it means that when they listen to you talk, there is no possibility of a mutual relationship. So they see you as parasitic. The way you get access to investors easily because they themselves can see the potentials on record. Exactly. Thank you, Food Safety Mama. Because this is where a lot of young persons make mistakes. You think that the wilderness means you are forgotten. No, the wilderness time in your business means that there is no spotlight on you yet, so you can make mistakes. That's what it means. Let me give you an example for it to make sense. I said earlier that there was a time I did crowdfunding, 2020, 2021, I think. I did crowdfunding. And at some point in the process, I found it hard to pay back. I had to start asking for extension. Wilderness time is also known as pruning season. Yes, ma'am. Now, imagine if I collect money today from people, today versus then, and I am not telling you, sorry, I cannot pay back. Please give me time, give me 3 months, give me 6 months. I'm trying to build. Imagine if they dragged me then versus they are dragging me now. Which one do you think will make more impact? Then or now? You will agree with me that anybody dragging me now would have a whole lot to destroy. Abi? So, but now I cannot make the mistake I made then. See the difference? If I make any of those kind of mistakes today, the dragging go long. Hey, the dragging go sweet. News go carry am, blogs go use and sing. Abi? They go do season 1, season 2, season 3. A lot of people will have opinions, ideas, and advice. Right? Now, but then when it happened, I was too small to matter. So even if anybody had chosen to drag me then, it won't trend. Abi? So the period I was not known was the opportunity to explore and make mistakes. The period that nobody knew me, the period that my name was not tied to people of high net worth, was the opportunity to misbehave and fail without my failure rubbing off negatively on anybody of high net worth. See the way we see things. But if I should fail today or do anything stupid today, it will not just be my name that might be dragged. Some people of high net worth, their names too will be dragged. Thank you. Remember when I went to the podcast Honey Bunch and I talked about GMO, the way people were dragging me. Can't imagine say I dey owe money. Continuous improvement is always encouraged. Thank you, ma. Relearn and unlearn. So when your business is at infancy stage, it's your opportunity to explore. It's your opportunity to make mistakes. People that will know your failure that period don't really want matter. If you want learn, they are laughing at you, it's their mouth, let them laugh. It's your opportunity. Because you see, when you now get the technical good, meaning when we can wake you up anytime and you can say, yes, I understand this thing, I feel it, oh yeah me. That is when you will now graduate from infancy gradually to adolescence. Please share so more people can learn this thing. Gradually to adolescence. As a business owner, so as somebody will not say, oh, but for my son, did you all go like that? You are just telling us, so it's not book. No. Ask people that know me well. There was a picture of myself and Madam Kato Lebile. Madam, if you know Kato Food, Lebile Atinuke, the co-founder of Kato Food in Osun State. There was a picture she shared with me one day, and we were just laughing, and she was like, can you remember this picture? They just started laughing like, wow. And I was saying that you don't take for my life. Oh. For the first 8-9 months of Soilless Farm Lab, the farm was in my compound. If you check my interview, let me be sure where. If you check my interview on VOA, yes. If you check my interview on VOA, go and check it. You will notice that interview, yes, the camera guys tried putting in different angles and all of that. But if you watch me where I appeared very well in the interview, just do something about the VOA, it will show you. You will notice that almost every part that I was on the farm looked like a compound. Looked like a compound. Why did it look like a compound? Because the farm I had then was in my compound. For 8-9 months, the whole COVID period, the whole of my farm was inside my compound. So you will, I'm looking at the video so I can give you real examples. You will see me having plants on the wall. That is me looking at the learning. Thank you, ma'am. Food safety, she's in Brazil. She said, I've had the time to observe a farm audit over here. I got to understand a lot. Thank you, ma'am. You see, because in that period, I started understanding a lot of things. Now let me. Na me go farm, na me go sell, na me go dig, na me go plant, na me go cover. So I started understanding a lot of things that period. Yes, so by the time my business entered adolescence, what is adolescence? Adolescent stage of your business is when you need to bring in people. People will test you. When you need to bring in people. Because one of the bigger issues I have seen with a lot of young farm owners is they complain that, oh, we don't know why our staff keep leaving. I don't know what is happening. There's a part of the video I'm seeing that is making me laugh. I was sitting next to the well I was using in the house. Then there is a farm that I was also working for. I'm shown on the farm. I remember, oh, that day was so, those days. When you get to adolescent stage is when you start bringing in people. Call them, if you like, call them volunteers, call them intern, call them staff. You are in your adolescent stage. Do you know why you are in your adolescent stage? Remember that you have been trying to manage technical, abi? Now you have gone to bring in somebody who also does not probably know anything. Probably. So you are now in that space where you are having to be a father to an infant, but you yourself, you are an adolescent, you are a youth. So a youth is trying to father an infant. You know, say mistakes go plenty. There's a part of the video now where they are showing the backyard of the house. You know, say mistake go plenty. Now the issue is you are bogging yourself down thinking you are not doing well because there are issues. This is the time to move gradually from technical to manager. Remember where we started from. You have entrepreneur, manager, and technical. When you are just starting, we focus on the technical, na only you dey. Now, yes, some employees are inexperienced. They only work for survival. Yes. Now, this is the funny part. Let me also say something like this that is funny. Do you know, okay, I have never had the opportunity of working in an eatery before, like a Burger King or a KFC or anything. But guess what? If I have the right prerequisites, I can be employed in Burger King tomorrow. And I will be able to function well regardless of the stupidity I carry, not knowing anything. And this is what I am trying to create. Because you see, as a business owner, you think your focus is only how do I make profit and grow. No. Your first focus is how do others run this system and make profit so that we grow. Meaning, you need to start rethinking how you see this entrepreneurship journey, which is how do I over time build something that is making money so that I can entrepreneur and launch. Hope I'm making sense. So, at infancy level, the focus was on you being the technical lead. When your business now gets to your adolescent level, we need you to become a manager. A manager. You are no longer technician. People are finally thinking they will use it to escape poverty, no standardization or sustainability plan. Exactly. So, what we are trying to do is, in becoming a manager, you are now in charge of operational activities. You are no longer the one doing the thing. You are the one managing the affairs, giving instructions, giving directions, but you are not the hand executing. You see, this is why this side is delicate as an adolescent in your business. Because a lot of businesses are stuck here till the business dies, or the owner of the business dies, or the owner of the business gets tired and closes the business for it to die. Because at this point, it's about now knowing that first, as a manager, I've taught this partially before, as a manager, you control operations. Thank you, so that you don't control people. I will say that again. As a manager, you are managing systems. You are not managing people. That is why in big companies, you will hear things like, this is the manager, this is the HR manager, human resource. So the person managing human resource is different from the manager managing operations, right? As a business at the adolescent level, your job is to try to manage operations. The problem is you are carried away with managing people. Exactly. HROM, human resource manager, from head of operations. So we need, or head of productions, you need to get to that point where you are able to differentiate the two. That you are not a manager of people. You are a manager of systems. You are a manager of operations. But the problem is, if you cannot differentiate these two, you will be having problem with the people. You will be too focused on getting the people to act right. You will be too focused on getting people to do right. I'll give you an example of something funny that used to happen in the days I worked with IITA. IITA, for those that don't know it, is the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, headquartered in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. Those days, I think they even still do it till now, the law is you cannot ride Okada, that's motorcycle, bike, inside IITA without your helmet. That is the law. And fortunately, I was in charge of a part called aeroponics, which was sort of close to the gates. And I kept noticing a strange human behavior. You will see somebody coming from their house with his bike. When they get to IITA gates, they will pause, wear their helmet and riding. When they close by 4:30 p.m., they will use the helmet on the bike, get to the gate. Once they cross the gate, they remove the helmet. Right? Where am I going? Is the helmet for the benefit of IITA? No. It is supposed to be for the benefit of the rider. Now, why does that person wear the helmet inside IITA? Oh, wow, Utazu, I will not know the person, man. Why will the person wear the helmet inside IITA? There is a system in place that says, no, yes, the safety of employees, but first and foremost, yes, it's the safety of the employees first. You should be safe as a person. So there is a system in place that says wear your helmet, which means if they catch you without helmet, you are not going to say your boss is wicked for punishing you for not wearing helmet, because instead the best you can say is your boss is strict. It too dey like follow rules and regulations, right? So, and now some people already understood where I'm going. As a business owner, when you were technical, we needed you to understand the processes yourself first, so that by the time your business starts entering adolescence, notice I did not say develop all your SOP. You can jot a few things down. When other people now start coming in as a manager, if you do not delegate, you have nothing you are managing. So as a manager, you start giving out duties. Give out duties. Give out duties. Those things that you documented as the process of how to get things done, when you were working alone, start letting them do it. Because that is the only way you can replicate yourself in them. I'll give you an example. If you come to Soilers and you meet those that are the older staff, now we have made over 100 staff, so I don't have that power anymore. The older staff will tell you that I used to be very big on book review. I will give books to read, you will read it every Friday, maximum every Friday. Thank you. Madam Fosemisi, I should tell you, I should advise every business owner, go and take a course on ISO 9000 quality management system. Every Friday, I will sit down, we will read books together, we will discuss the books. What was I doing in doing all of that? Some of them were interns, meaning they were still in their university. But it is from people that were in the university that I later hired to become staff after graduation. Why would that be possible? I started teaching them how to think critically, how to analyze, how to see things from the unbiased perspective. And this is what a lot of people are not doing. Today, we have laborers on the farm. You know what is funny? Some of maybe out of 15 or so laborers or so we have on the farm, more than 10 of them are not educated. But the agronomy head has dedicated days for having agronomy lectures with them. They don't need to know botanical name, but they need to know how to identify pests and diseases. They need to know half-life of stuff, how to spray, PPE, how to save distance, stuff like that. Because you need to, over time, convert the head knowledge in people. As an adolescent in business, take the head knowledge in people to start documenting. SOP. Somebody got it right. So that at that point, as a manager, you are no longer about people, you are about SOPs. When you start realizing that, okay, this SOP seems to be working well, still as an adolescent, you now take those SOPs to start forming company policies. Company policies, which means anybody can choose to leave at that point. It doesn't matter, because any other person can come, pick up the book and get the same results. Get the same results. Those SOPs, it is what the manager sits to manage. Those are the systems. Those are the systems. And if you cannot get this right, if you cannot get this right and your business should expand, thank you so much, ma, your business will now become a body. Your business will now become a body. I tell people regularly, thank you, God. I tell people regularly, I can go weeks without entering inside the farm. It is not because there is pride. It is not because there is pride. No. It is because I know that the people there know what to do. They know what they are doing. Exactly. There is a system that has been implemented. You will notice that there was a time where I hardly had pictures of me on the farm to push. Now, if you have been following my life, you will notice that most of the pictures I am trying to build that I push, you'll be hearing my voiceover and all of that and blah, 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 is more around processing. Because that is where right now we are trying to build we have built SOPs, we are now creating policies so that we can start creating systems around it before automating gradually. That is why I am always there, so that we are doing an oversight. Okay, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you notice that pattern? How do we correct that? How do we correct that? So you need to have systems in place where you now know that your business is no longer people dependent, it is systems dependent. At that point, as a manager, you have results. You have what? Results. You might even have a number 2, a number 3, a number 4 that are also very good. Because the proof of growth as a manager is that you can be away without a disruption in your operations. Without a disruption in your operations. By the time you have gotten this right, this is when you qualify to now enter real entrepreneurship. Q, it means what you have been doing since was not entrepreneurship. You were just a technical person, then became a manager, now you are entering entrepreneurship. Who is this entrepreneurship person? This is when you now become innovative. The problem is a lot of businesses think, especially farming, because I've heard a lot of farmers say, oh, we want to be innovative. Let's be sincere, more than talk. How many innovative farmers or innovative ideas have you seen in farming in Nigeria to work? Let me hear your feedback. How many innovative ideas have you seen in farming in Nigeria from a startup to blow? I will pause. You say you have seen. Let me see if I can open YouTube. I think people might be chatting. Now, because I want this, I know I cannot. Yes, because at times we need to tell ourselves some bitter truths. Soilless is not innovative farming. I did not start soilless. Lie for you, I didn't start soilless farming. I'm not the first soilless farmer in the world. To blow pé innovative leléyìí o, to blow. What all of us do is copy and paste. You see am there, you copy and come paste am here. You see am there, you copy and come put am here. Madam Fusemi say innovative farmers are studying in labs. How many? Let me see if there is any answer on Twitter. Maybe Twitter has the answer I'm waiting for. But that Twitter don give the jugu answer. Twitter never give me answer. How many? Because you see, entrepreneurs are the ones who bring innovations. But the reason they can innovate ni pé they are not burdened by running the business. They are not burdened. They have outgrown, not let me use the word outgrown, they have transcended, yes. Because at that point, you can now start adding your own concept, bringing your own idea. You are not begging for money. There is a guy I love so much in the space, though he's not in agric, what's his name? Or Flutterwave. Oga Iyi Aboyeji. Once in a while, I get the opportunity of having conversations with him. And when we are talking, I say, yes, this is an entrepreneur. Me, I'm not there yet. Because he sees opportunities easily. He is able to see, okay, this is the issue. We can do something out of this and create another industry out of this. Entrepreneurship is a way of thinking and seeing. Entrepreneurship is a way of thinking and seeing. Two, how much audience, and no, let me look for the right way to put that. How much credence is given to you when you are granted audience? I'm not trying to rhyme, but the credence that is given to you when you are granted audience is built on the back of what you have as track record. So, if, for example, just an example, an Iyi Aboyeji is meeting the taxman, Mr. I've forgotten his name again, for the first time, or meeting his SLSC, Lagos State governor, or any governor in Nigeria for the first time. Thank you, man. You will notice that when he gets introduced, whomever is introducing them, or he is the one introducing himself, there is a capacity that he has built that grants him leverage with people that can unlock the next level. Because he has now built to that entrepreneurship level. But on the flip side, if you take an entrepreneur that is just starting and you are saying, oh, meet His Excellency Babatunde, His Excellency Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, the best they can get out of it is photo op. Because there is nothing you would read. That is, I'm trying to tell you some bad secret now. That is why you saw that rich man. He was like, oh, wow, what you are doing is beautiful. We are going to talk. Never call you till today. Because what you have may be beautiful, but there is no track record of beauty. There is no track record of results. So they will just take photos with you and you will leave. And you have gotten your trophy. You have gotten your trophy. Another big difference, is because you have now become an entrepreneur, you are now willing to invest money and take higher risk. As a manager, you can't take risk. And this is where some people make mistake. You are jumping from technical to risk taking. No. Have you been to such conferences where the person came to speak, they had a great vision? When you hear their vision, you are like, wow. By the time you went to their facility to see them, their vision and reality is what I ordered versus what I got. And there is that disappointment that comes. And they start coming across as fake. This is what happens when you have not built to managerial level and you skip into entrepreneurship level, which is maturity. Because at maturity level, 3 managers matters the most. 3 managers. As an entrepreneur now, 3 managers, if you like, for some companies, they will put it at 5. There are 5 people that you now need to manage. How do you achieve it? A goal if someone cannot? No. Am I saying you cannot take risk as a manager? No. Listen, let me explain that again. As a manager, your focus is to create systems that gives you freedom. That is your full focus. What can I do? What can I do? What can I automate? What do I need to put in place so that I can be free of being here? Because entrepreneurship is freedom. Manager is not freedom. As a manager, your core operations are internal. As an entrepreneur, your work is external. Today, somebody can invite me to say, come for a program and you pay me well, come and spend 1 month. I will go. When I was at managerial level, I won't go. Thank you, man. I won't go. So you need to know where you are. I lost my train of thought. I was going to give an example before. But what I'm just trying to say is, as an entrepreneur, your job is outside. Okay, I was going to say, there are 5 key people that the entrepreneur manages, or 5 key offices that the entrepreneur manages. Office 1, you manage the finance managers. Thank you, ma. You manage the finance managers. You know, I don't like money, I don't like numbers. Baba, you go let them go. You must understand numbers by force. Because you will be in rooms where they want to ask, oh, how far now? Okay, you say you need money. How much do you need? What did you guys generate? What do you think? What are you projected to generate? Okay, considering the new NPRO rate of the government, you're not like, Kili, NPRO, is he a kind of CD player? And they're looking at you, is he, I want to give some millions of dollars to? So, you must understand finance, and you must understand that the finance manager reports to you. Number 1, because your business exists to make money. So it is the financial health of the company that reveals the true health of the company. Number 1. Number 2, the HR manager. Because nothing is worse than having disgruntled staff. Yes, you have to study basic data analysis, finance, people, operations. Yes. Nothing is worse than disgruntled staff, unhappy people, people that are keeping malice. Now, you are not there to find out who gave birth, who shit, who not poo-poo. No. You are there to ensure ethics, equity, and fairness. Always. Ethics. How do we behave here? What is our culture? Who is not opposing this culture? How do we ensure this culture is stronger and that those that don't fit in get out? Ethics. What ethics do we want to hold tight here? Do you want a work culture where we call ourselves by name? Jide John, John, Gigi, Gigi, JJ. Ethics, very important. What kind of, so the HRO's relationship with you is not to gossip people. It's just for you to know the state of the mind of the people, their mental health. What more can I create? What is stressing people out? How do we motivate? Those are the things you want to have. A work environment that is open. Okay, that is open to feedback. But anyway, if you like, not if you ever want to be able to have feedback, now you know. But HR, because you are now entering maturity level. Maturity level. So you have your finance manager on one hand. You have your finance manager is not just head of finance, clerk, supply chain people, all of them on one bed. Because it gives you a holistic view on paper how money works. And money gives you your results, whether you are doing well or badly. But money does not tell you the state and health of your people. That is where the HRO comes in. Next, you want the manager who has the operations and other people under them reporting. Because those are the people that get to give you feedback of, okay, this is how we are getting things done. Remember, you used to be technical, so this is the technical guys, right? Because remember, we say you are giving out a part of yourself to everybody. For some companies, the fourth leg is, it depends on what your company decides to call it. Some will say monitoring and evaluation, some will say food safety, some will say quality assurance. In some places, they are even divided. But it is about rules and compliance and measurable results. That is what this department is about. What were the rules? Who complied? What is the significance of this rule that was obeyed? What does this rule, because they obeyed this, are we getting more yield? Are we getting better customers? What are we getting? So you notice that you don't need to be there for these people to tell you what is happening. You don't need to be around to get feedback. That is why I said, as an entrepreneur, your job is out there. But if these people are not trained, how do you leave them to run your system? How do you leave them to run your system? And number 5, auditors. The internal and the external. The internal checks to be sure that the system is right and gives you feedback. The external, who is not biased and knows nobody, cares about nobody in the organization, gives you an honest, unbiased, valuation. So that you are now able to compare and contrast on your own. I hope we were able to learn something. I've taken too much time. Hope we were able to learn something today. I didn't expect it was going to be this long. I just wanted to actually make it clear that, you see, if you are at adolescence level and you are getting overwhelmed, it is fine. It is normal. But start jotting quickly. We deal with the chaos by documentation. Thank you for joining. No, so there are financial auditors, there are operations auditors, depending on how rich you are as a company. You don't have so much money, you can use the external auditors to audit only the finance and use the internal auditor to audit every other thing in the company to save your funds. Hope that answers your questions. Thank you all for joining. Yes, there are also food safety auditors. Yes. So it depends. That's what I'm saying. It depends on what you want to get out. But remember that the auditors report to you as the entrepreneur. They report to you as the entrepreneur. Then as the entrepreneur, you now report to your board of advisors or board of directors, depending on where you are in your journey. Those are the people you report to say, okay, wow, wahala ude, wahala wa. Thank you all for joining.